Welcome to part 2 of this WebSphere Message Broker tutorial. Continuing from where we left off, we now move into the Broker Development panel on the left hand side. Under Contact Book Procedure Handlers, there will be a Schema Definitions folder. If we click through this and then select the second option down, we can find the data model for Get Detail. As you can see, the data model for this is quite complex, and so one of the main functions that Message Broker provides is to simplify the data model for a mobile device. We do this by using the transformation functions within Message Broker. In the Read subflow, located under Contact Book, Procedure Handlers, and Subflows, we want to locate the Transformation tab on the left of this panel, and then drag and drop a compute node between the Input and Read customer. We will name this Build Request Message because that's what we want the compute node to do. Double click on this node and then delete from Create Procedure to the second end, and also delete the two lines beginning with Create Call. This is some default example code that Message Broker provides, which can be useful, but in this scenario we will want to write our own. This code can be copy and pasted from the description, or you could write your own. When typing, you can use Control Space to bring up suggested responses that the domain knows about. In this section, we are specifying that the input will need to have the customer company code and the customer ID in order to build the request. Save and close this panel. Now, we drag another compute node from the Transformations tab and place it between Read Customer and Output. We will call this Build Response Message because this node will decide how to respond when the information is presented to it. Double-click this node and delete the extras as before. It is worth noting now that mobiles handle JSON objects, so this is what we will be creating. What we will do in this section is to configure the node to send name, number, and address back to the device. As before, you can copy and paste the code from the description into the window. Now save and close this panel. This is where we click and drag the different nodes together, from input to build request, to read customer, to build response, to output. As you are connecting the different nodes together, a dialog box will open. On this, simply select Out and click OK. Now we save and close these windows and locate Contact Book REST application and drag and drop it onto the broker to deploy it. Whilst this is being deployed, open up IBM Worklight Studio. We import our project by selecting File, Import, Existing Project, and find the application we just created in Broker in your directory. Now you can see that the application is present within Worklight. Under Contact Book, click through Apps, Contact Book, Common, JS, Controllers, and double-click on Find Customer Controller. If you scroll through this, we can see that this application is going to look for an adapter called Contact Book, and it's got a procedure called Read Customer. To access that, we will pass this customer object that has a name, postcode, telephone, and address. This is what needs to match the code we wrote earlier. As you can see, even things like capital letters can have consequences, so ensure it is exactly the same. Back in Message Broker, we go into Independent Resources, right-click on the Worklight adapter that Message Broker created for us and select Properties. We then copy and paste the location of the resource and go back to Worklight. We then right-click in the blank space in the Project Explorer, click Import, Other and Existing Project, and copy the location into the root directory and click Finish. You can now see that the Worklight adapter is present in the project. Now we go back into the Contact Book project on Worklight, go into Apps and copy and paste the Contact Book folder into the Apps folder that is located within the Worklight adapter. Now, right-click on the Contact Book folder and click Run As, Deploy Worklight Adapter. The next step is to open up a web browser and navigate to your local host page. Here, we can see the Worklight adapter, and if we click Preview as Common Resource, we can see how the app would look, and we can also interact with it. So for example, we could click Download Customer and enter the example customer reference, which is 000004288. But don't click Invoke just yet. As an added activity, we should also open up WebSphere MQ. On the MQ Explorer on the right, click Brokers, MB8 Broker, and we can see our application. Click this and then right-click on the REST provider flow, and then click on Activity Log. This shows you all the activity that has happened. However, as of yet, we don't have any activity. Now, we return to the web browser and click Invoke. The application will now find the information for you. Here, we can see our customer information with the option to add to contacts as we specified. If we return to MQ now and refresh the activity log, we can see that some activity has occurred. If we select Columns and select RM, we can see the resource managers that have been involved and how long was spent in each section. In this case, invoking the back-end systems and talking to SAP took 7 seconds, so the pattern then knew to put it into the global cache. If you then invoke the procedure again and check the timestamps, you will see that the time is reduced to milliseconds, as the request only needed to go as far as the local cache. In summary, we have built a WebSphere Message Broker adapter using the patterns that exist within the program. This allows us to access a back-end SAP system, and using IBM Worklight Studio, we have successfully integrated the adapter into a mobile application.